Alrighty, welcome back everybody to episode 2. So today we're going to be working on removing the body from Beetle number 1 and putting it on Beetle number 2 that's got the good chassis. So we're going to show you exactly what you have to do as far as body mounts and fun pieces. Now the fun thing we did notice with the Super Beetle is the fact that it has McPherson struts. So you do have to get the body a lot higher. We weren't able to remove the struts from the mounts on the bottom, so the best we could do is just kind of pivot the arms inward to get the height down a little bit, but we did have to get the body up about 3 feet in the air. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and remember, please subscribe, as we'll be doing a lot of stuff with Volkswagen Beetles and kit cars. Alright, so here is the donor chassis. Someone did need the rear side for a patch panel that they're working on, so they basically took the entire passenger side from the rear door backwards. So not a big deal, makes it actually a lot easier for Gus to get into the car and remove some of the body bolts to start removing the body from the chassis itself. So, as I said, relatively clean. I mean, nice solid. Looks like the floor pans had been replaced at some time when we lifted up the carpeting. So relatively solid. So we got to start peeling off some of the stuff that we can salvage, like the window glass. Front windshield was decent. Rear window was fine. One of the side windows was still good. So we had to get the McPherson struts off to get those lifted out. Then we started cutting off the top of the body panels that we weren't using as they were scrap, and start once again sawzalling some of the other pieces just so we could get the chassis out. Here we're pulling the cab forward so we can get that off. I'm going to save the hood on that, so relatively solid and safe on there also. So other than that, here's some of the scrap pieces going to the heap. And here's the original toe of the what we thought was a decent Beetle at the time. Here's some of the body work that we ended up doing, so just pulling out some little dings that were on it. Here's the chassis with the body removed and the struts just flopping all over the place. It does make it very, very hard to move a vehicle when the wheels want to go wherever they do. But like I said, nice and solid. So we did end up sandblasting the chassis top and bottom, priming, and then undercoating the whole thing with a little bit of Rhino liner. Here's some of the body work that we ended up doing on the Super Beetle body that was good. Ended up pulling off some of the straps, holding some of the I guess falling apart pieces on the inside, so ended up replacing most of those. Fenders were good, so we kept those on, just pulled out some of the dings, sanded off some of the surface rust. Surprisingly solid. Did fiberglass in some of the holes for some of the body trim that we won't be replacing. Could go with a little sleeker look to the car. First coat mud going on, a couple coats of spot putty going on here, and we're probably going to call it quits at that point, get her up in the air, and then start bringing in the better chassis. Found the best place to lift the front of the car was actually right underneath the spare tire, so we did get a chain there and our 12,000 pound shop hoist to lift the front off the ground. On the rear, a little bit more difficult. Ended up using 2 jacks, floor jacks on each side, and just jacking up a little bit. Tried to set the body on and then raise it some more so we could get those bolts off the rear, which actually came out nice. Surprisingly for a Wisconsin car, I pretty much thought these were going to be goners. Like I said, did come out real nice. Here we did get the pan dropped from the body, so you can see the McPherson struts in the front there just swaying around, and the pan was removed down, so there are about 8 or 9 bolts that hold that on. We'll show you those in a little bit. Here we're getting the body and higher yet, drop the front on the ground so we can get it lower to get the motor out. And here's some of the bolts on inside. You do have to drop out the arms on the McPherson strut suspension in the front. Some of those cross pieces will hold the body up, so you do have to drop those. Just locate those underneath the plastic plugs. Here's the front 2 body mounts right between the front seats, between the passenger and the driver. Here's the 4 bolts on the rear underneath the passenger seat. So a couple of these are covered up with some spray foam for insulation. So there's 2 on each side, so that's 4. We got the 2 on the front console, that makes 6. The couple underneath the gas tank for the suspension. Here's the primary frame bolt. You've got 1 on the front of each of the shocks, so we did have to take those off. Here's the underside picture of the chassis bolts. Once again, get those off and then slightly try to raise it a little bit with either a flat blade knife or a trowel to separate the glue from the frame and just gently lift up. They can't park there. I don't know why they do that. Alright, here's another one of the chassis that we picked up as a bonus. Came with a title and the whole 9 yards. They said you need to take it if you take the other car, which ended up being the chop top. Fortunately, we thought it would fit in the trailer. It did not, so we had to hang it off the front. Got it home, didn't weigh a lot, and then had to figure out how to get it off. So first thing we did was jack up the front, jack up the rear, get some tires on. And so once again, I hope OSHA's not watching this. So we did get the tires on the rear and then just kind of kicked it over so it would slide into the back. Got the tires on the front. Then we needed to push the front over so it lined back up with the center of the trailer. So once again, safety first always. And then just kind of slid it off down a couple boards so it wouldn't damage the trailer, and then pulled it off with the four-wheeler. So there you go. So here's a couple of pieces we did salvage from the donor chassis vehicle. So like I said, fenders weren't bad, hood was okay. So once again, if we don't use it, we've got them. Otherwise, maybe just sell them off. Like I said, windshield was good, rear windshield window was good, side windows were good. Here's all the junk going to the scrapyard. So not bad when you pick up a vehicle for about 150 bucks, sell off some pieces, and scrap the rest out for a few dollars. So once again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Once again, we will be giving away that free sound effects pack here shortly. So once again, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.